the carriages are coming through the gates at the bottom of the straight here. And Jim, it doesn't matter how many times we see this, it's sensational every time.
It's just such a striking curtain raiser, isn't it?
It really is, and you can see in the carriages, we have obviously a very, very strong lineup because the King and the Queen are in that first carriage, as is the Prince of Wales, and looking gorgeous. I love that green colour. That is very, very striking. I don't know if they do a betting on the colour of the outfits nowadays, but that one probably would have taken a few by surprise. Looks like King Charles is just getting more comfortable in those carriages, Jim.
And their guest is Prince Saud bin Khalid Al-Saud, who's the former Deputy Governor of Saudi Arabian General Investment Authority, and he's also the Deputy Governor of the Al Madinat region.
Wow, so very honoured to be in that first carriage as well. And the Prince of Wales is in the carriage as well. The Princess of Wales not here today, which is disappointing for many race goers. You can see that her husband is, and some really big names, and a real honour this as well. Proper British institution, 200 years, Jim, and this has barely changed. I don't think it has changed in 200 years.
That's a very good point. I mean, it was created by George IV, and it was suggested to him that it could help improve the image of the monarchy because he wasn't a popular king with quite a lot of people. And the procession was such a success. It was lauded, and journalists, the world's press reported it so favourably. He said, this is such a good idea, we'll have another Royal Ascot in 2 weeks.
No.
But of course, he didn't take into account that a lot of the working public couldn't support it, etc., etc., and the idea was dispensed with upon his death in 1830.
You can have too much of a good thing,
Too
Jim.
much of a good thing, yeah.
The second carriage, we have the Duke of Gloucester, the Duchess of Gloucester, and the Earl of Halifax, and the Countess of Halifax, I believe friends of the King and Queen.
Yeah, they are friends, aren't they? When Royal Ascot moved to York, Prince Charles, as he was then, he stayed with the Halifaxes, and the Duke of Gloucester, of course, family. He is the grandson of King George V, and his wife Birgitta, who's Danish-born, but they've been married a long time.
Yeah, good to see them enjoying this ride. I should imagine there's a decent breeze as they're heading up the straight there. But let's move on to the next carriage, because sporting fans and those that enjoy novels will be interested to know that in the third carriage is Mr. and Mrs. William Boyd and Mr. and Mrs. Justin Rose.
Yes, well, William Boyd OBE was at school, Gordonstoun, with King Charles, so they're obviously old friends. His wife, Susan, is with him, and as you said, Justin Rose, to most viewers, will need no introduction. Recently second to Rory McIlroy in the Masters, and his wife, Kate, who's a huge supporter of many charities, and also was a gymnast in her younger days.
Oh, wow, yeah, that is a demanding career as well, and a little more sedate now as they're making their way up this straight mile. The horses are always magnificent. I said this yesterday, Jim, but the first horse in the King's carriage is a Windsor Grey called Icon, and can you imagine how absolutely rock steady he must be? Anyway, in the fourth carriage, the lady Sarah Chatto, Mr. Daniel Chatto, and Mr. and Mrs. Robert Harris.
Yeah, Robert Harris, 8 days ago, was invested. He was awarded a CBE in the honours list, and King Charles himself did it. He's with his wife Jill, whose maiden name was Hornby. She's a novelist herself, and she's a sister of Nick Hornby.
So, wow, a real, really writing family there.
But you know, looking at the hats, they are we've seen all shapes and sizes, from the Queen in green down to this one. Queen Victoria sort of took the hat for ladies to another level, because when she was in the carriage or in the parade, she wore what was known as the porter bonnet.
Porter bonnet.
The porter bonnet. Now, this is special, Alex.
Yeah.
Because it shielded the wearer from prying male eyes.
Sensational. Well, I wonder if the porter bonnet is still in existence today. Who knows? I think there are one or two large hats, but whether we could class them as porter bonnets remains to be seen. But a great bit of information on the fashion front there, Jim.
But we must have a little bit of scandal, and we actually touched on this last year. Do you remember when Viscount Churchill became the first representative for the royal family, i.e. the King's representative? He categorised people in 3 ways.
Ooh, so, can we still do it today, I wonder?
Letters, writing for admission to the royal enclosure, and he had them as certainly, perhaps, certainly not.
Ooh.
And to check up, he got access to the divorce registry so he could actually check whether someone who was divorced had applied for royal enclosure admittance.
Because the madness of it all is that divorcees didn't used to be admitted into the royal enclosure.
Absolutely not. Heaven forbid.
Oh gosh, they kept the good people for outside. Anyway, you can see that the flags are flying as well as they make their way up this mile. And Jim, what they always do is they get to the furlong marker and we get the national anthem. So when they get just that little bit closer, then they will play the national anthem. And we had a fantastic reception as they came into the winners' enclosure yesterday. But this is very much a movable feast, quite literally, because they all have a lunch beforehand, and I think those that are invited into the carriages to take this journey only find out maybe half an hour before they set off.
Wow,
I think the rest maybe travel in motor cars.
I mean, you love horses in all forms, and the Windsor Greys that we see here, that was a tradition that came in during Queen Victoria's reign, masterminded by her son Edward, who did so much. He was a big racehorse owner. He's the only reigning monarch to win a Triple Crown winner.
Wow.
And he had another Derby winner, apart from the Triple Crown winner's Diamond Jubilee. He had another Derby winner called Persimmon, and he started the Royal Stud at Sandringham.
Great history, and of course we have the King Edward VII Stakes here at the Royal Meeting as well.
But you said yesterday when you were talking to Rhiannon, you discussed about how important this is. The King and the Queen family are important, and they show that during the week in this procession.
They really do. It's great for racing that we have for the most senior royals here, and it is pomp and ceremony that you get hardly anywhere else. And as expected, as they approach the furlong marker, we will soon be respecting the national anthem. I don't think there's spare space around this paddock, Jim. It's absolutely rammed, and when they leave Windsor Castle, the route is lined with people all through the park, having picnics, enjoying the procession. What a lovely way to spend your lunchtime.
So people from all backgrounds sit and support this. As we know, I mean, half an hour ago there was nobody round here. Now, as you just said, people are craning round where we're working to get a view of it. It is an amazing spectacle.
And it's quite incredible because since the 1750s, the royal family have attended this meeting regularly. And it's heartwarming to see that after the death of our late Queen Elizabeth II, that King Charles and Queen Camilla are equally as passionate at this stage as she was about this industry, and really involved with runners. And of course in 2023, first year as king, they celebrated a winner here.
Well, it'd be nice if they could do the same again later on this afternoon.
As you've tipped the horse up.
Well, that's important too, Alex. I wasn't actually putting that forward as the main reason. And this whole thing, you talked about the precision and how well organised it is. It's a gentleman called Toby Brown, who I don't know, that masterminds it all. You know, for all the details, you know, he collates, and you know, it doesn't happen by accident.
And you see these horses, you know, many of them have riders on, big cheers as they come into the enclosure here. And one of the Windsor Greys in the first pairing, just spooking a little bit from the crowd there. But apparently they pair the riders up with the horses according to ability and, you know, who will get on with who. And it must be such a privilege for these riders to ride into one or two of these just getting a little bit fiery, because it's a lot, Jim. Even these Windsor Greys, they have the blinkers on with all the harnesses, and you know, for the riders it's really important that you try and keep them as calm as possible. The Cleveland Bays, of course, following closely behind with dapples on their coats. They look $1 million, they really do. And what a magnificent sight. So
I was just going to say, I wonder if Robert Harris will write his next blockbuster will be about this.
Well, you write given your life experience, don't you? So I would hope so.
Given the success he made of Conclave.
Yes. Yeah, I should think it's all research for the next book.